October 31st, 2021, IWA Trivia and Random Facts. A few random facts and clarifications relating to your previous trivia episode. We were hoping the identity of the first Rookie Brawl winner would have been a surprise, not the existence of the title itself. Unfortunately, it is becoming increasingly apparent that social media is the reason we can't have nice things. When Matt and Scott detailed the Pink Panther-esque nature of their living arrangements, they neglected to mention the Revolution Extreme connection. The name of Inspector Clouseau's sparring partner was Kato. The original Johnny B was a fan of Major Leaguer Joe Charbonneau, whom Leon mentioned in the chat box. Also, Joe was born in Belvidere, Illinois, so he may have used Vaseline in his hair at some point during Little League. Johnny B's favorite childhood candy. I saved dessert for last, as one should. Like Alex, my favorite childhood sweet was the original vanilla-flavored Charleston Chew. I was the only one of Johnny B's 10 children who enjoyed them. It was quite the disappointment when I discovered that the local distributor had inexplicably switched to the bite-sized variety from the more satisfying diabetes-size bars. Some of my siblings did share my fondness for another favorite I had in common with Alex, Tootsie Fruit Chews. Nostalgia got the better of me 18 months ago, and I purchased a rather generous quantity from Amazon. December 3rd, 2021, Holiday Trivia. Does the IWA do anything special for employees during the holiday season? Johnny B, as we all see each other socially and exchange gifts during the holidays, it seems unnecessary to engage in the typical office holiday gatherings. During the 90s that was not the case, so we did have office parties at the end of holiday work weeks. But now? Bah humbug! What was Johnny B's favorite Christmas present that he received throughout his life? Johnny B, my current computer, a Mac, is a holiday gift from 14 years ago. While some may view Apple with disdain and thus be disappointed by my response, this computer was my first ever product from that company, and it has been exceptionally trouble-free all these years. Like Matt, I was the recipient of Dungeons & Dragons material, but in my case, it was merely the basic set. That was back in the early 80s when D&D was gaining mainstream popularity. My father had actually created his own version of the game a few years earlier, so it was strange to be the one in charge as a young teen and have him as just one of the players. In later years, I ended up purchasing the other D&D books Matt mentioned. My brothers and I had the same Castle Grayskull and Death Star playsets that he did. I also received a BB gun one year, and no, I did not shoot my eye out. Would the IWA ever consider making the game more difficult by introducing a 24-point hold, increasing strategy depth for the World 6-Man Championships? Johnny B, we presently receive as many complaints about the hold values as we can handle, thank you very much. I will add that we previously held a vote to narrow the field of World 6-Man Champions through a more rigorous playoff process, but the idea was very poorly received. Does the IWA primarily use desktops or laptops? Johnny B, I previously informed you that we utilize both PC and Mac. However, we rely almost exclusively on desktops, because laptops require too many compromises in exchange for portability. Laptops have smaller screens that are less ergonomic, cramped keyboards that feel worse than even a cheap desktop keyboard, limited ports, weaker CPUs that run slower to avoid overheating, less expandable memory and storage, more expensive repairs. If you absolutely need a real PC you can take with you, a laptop is your only option. Otherwise, I highly recommend a desktop PC plus phablet combo for fewer compromises. When the IWA asks players to submit their strategies earlier due to a holiday, do employees look forward to those early days? Johnny B, requiring managers to submit their matches earlier than usual is done out of necessity, not because we desire to impose such a burden upon them. Our preference is to allow players as much time as possible to write entertaining trash talk and review their league submissions for correctness. While it is nice to work an occasional half-day, it's important to note that we must complete roughly the same number of requests in a greatly reduced time frame, so those days can be just as taxing as full ones. We appreciate the cooperation demonstrated by our players each time we must ask them to comply with stricter deadlines. How about some unsolicited music trivia? Johnny B, if you insist. The IWA was born in the basement of a home in Northeast Ohio, and the previous owner had run a professional recording studio in rooms above the garage. Matt's favorite band is the Eagles, and rumor has it that they were one of the bands that recorded songs there. Not wishing to see the amenities go to waste, some of my friends, siblings, and I formed a band as a means of attracting female companionship. Unfortunately, those hopes were dashed when we discovered that women actually expected us to be able to play something, the nerve. So, I then shifted my focus to play-by-mail imaginary wrestling, predicting it would someday replace music as the ultimate chick magnet. Fortunately for all of you, I'm a very patient and persistent individual. One of my best friends from high school, whom we auditioned as a drummer but rejected due to his, shall we say, incompatible skill level, has achieved international success with his band Midnight Syndicate. As an avid Dungeons & Dragons gamer, Matt may already be familiar with their work, as they scored the first officially licensed soundtrack for D&D, some of which was used in the popular computer game Baldur's Gate: Dark Alliance Tekken. Anyone who has patronized an amusement park during Halloween season has likely experienced their creations, as has anyone who attended one of the late Hugh Hefner's Halloween parties. That's all for this episode of Johnny B's IWA Trivia. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.